What do you think?
Well, I like the aggressive Parasite coming out a lot more than I like the Wild Soul, at least. I personally am not a fan of Wild Soul at all. I think it's way too much of a defensive hero, unless you got some kind of like push strategy going behind it, which clearly wasn't the case in game number one. Seems like Evil Corporation pretty much knows exactly what they want out of their draft here as well in game number two, seeing as Hellbringer and Andromeda is core for them. We saw Matthias play really well Hellbringer in game number one, as well as Andromeda being their signature hero. So Clanks, ban it fast, or it will be picked up here.
You really think so? I think right now the carry pool is so big. Like there are so many heroes that the carry players play, and I feel like this is pretty much all of the top four teams, I guess. Like the Sandwraith, you have Clanks, you have Magebane, you have Dark Lady, you have Silhouette, you have Ogi, you have Salomon. I just feel like there are so many carries. You just can't ban them off their comfort zone. Um, and yeah, Clanks is annoying to deal with, but at the same time, like Magebane and all these others are almost equally,
Yeah,
if
but I
not.
don't feel like I just gotta bring that up as well now when you're talking about it. Like
Yeah,
I just don't
yeah.
feel like Andromeda, synergizes as well with those melee carries. Like it's always seems to be having the different effect almost. Like Andromeda swapping with a melee hero, and he's like, should I run back in? That's going to take a couple of seconds. Should I retreat? Like, what's the plan behind that in that case?
So I think the hardest part of playing against Andromeda isn't necessarily in the team fights, but rather the phases in between. Because you have carries like Magebane, which they're always so scared. And carry players, I mean, you've played with a bunch of them, they're always so scared of farming. Like for God knows what reason. They just don't want to go anywhere. So when you have an Andromeda sitting behind you throughout that entire phase of the game, Mageman's like, I can blink here, I can blink there, I can farm some here, I can farm some there. And then if he runs into trouble because, his game sense is bad or whatever, then he just gets swapped out by Andromeda. And then you're like, oh, guys, come on, we invested 30 seconds of sitting in the trees, pulling an own me, didn't kill their carry, and he's still flash farming all across the map. And not only does it give carries confidence to play more aggressive, they could probably make the same plays without Andro. But just having Andro on the team usually gives the carry players a lot of confidence in moving around and farming wherever they want to be.
Yeah.
So I think that's the hardest part of playing against Andro.
Is it safe to say though that you're taking a little bit of a risk though during the laning stage? Andromeda plus a
Oh
melee
yeah,
doesn't
oh yeah,
necessarily scream.
oh for sure. I mean, people right now, I feel like they draft the greediest lanes, and a lot of Mint's success has come from those aggressive dual lanes and being the only team kind of that goes into that long lane. And it was something that we tried to mimic today, but unfortunately it didn't work out for us. But I think it's a great way to punish what they do.
Well, so Clank's kind of the hero that you're referring to is new. I mean, I'm looking at this mid lineup. He is still open, but honestly, this mid lineup screams very good against Clank. So I don't know if he actually would be the best pick anymore if it was before. But yeah, all three of those heroes actually can be pretty solid against him. So now they already got Wild Soul for some of that carry presence anyways. I assume it's going to end up with Tank Effect, of course, in that jungle where they run it. Blitz is the fourth pick for Mint, so again, they're going to go
Why
aggressive
do they
here.
favor him? Why do they favor Blitz so highly? Insane,
Aggressive?
Give us your insight.
Bunny lover, boys.
Yeah?
His name could just as well be Blitz lover. This guy, like, I think I've never seen anyone with most played Blitz, and I'm pretty sure he had this pre compression as well. But I think he was a 2000 rated player, playing pretty much only Blitz. Like he played a bunch of Blitz. This is definitely his hero. Like,
Wow.
so I think that's a big part of it. But also, of course, the long lane. But I just see the same trend in this game. ECX are tanking up. They're picking heroes that are hard to kill, and Mint, I don't see the damage. Do you guys,
Yeah, I
do you
don't
guys
get
see
why
it
they're
as well?
picking up
Like
the
it's just
Blitz.
like,
Feels weird.
yeah, I agree. Like I mean, they're trying to put him into his comfort zone, and it's probably his best hero. And creds, like that's great, amazing. But purely from a draft point of view, ignoring the player names, it looks scary for the side of Mint. And yeah,
Sustained damage. Burst damage, they have plenty. But sustained damage, yeah, it's
right,
definitely
exactly.
lacking right now on the side of Mint. So, you think of a final pick right here. It's, what could they really get that helps that cause? I mean, if they want to go a suicide route, maybe something like a Valkyrie or a Madman as a style hero, kind of that semi-carry presence, that could be some of that sustained damage.
I mean, I just feel like
Potentially
they have no lockdown whatsoever on Legion side. Like, if the Hellborn
It's
team were to get to the stage where they get Shrunken Heads or similar, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel like once again they're bringing a lot of melee heroes to the table, but it doesn't feel like they're going to have enough lockdown or enough team fight presence to actually punish Evil Corporation at any point or any stage of the game, unless of course they roll over them in the laning stage.
Yeah, I think the goal here, it has to be for Mint just to roll over the laning stage, and it's, from my point of view, it's the only thing they can do. But I just really hope, I really.
Hello?
I think Insania
know
bust
the
out.
power of the dark side.
Alright.
What is Insidia doing?
I
You're
had
such a troll. God. Was that Darth Slapped coming through?
Well, Darth Slapped coming through.
Sorry, yeah, he interrupted.
It sounded so real as well. It sounded like you disconnected because you just stopped mid-sentence and then the voice comes
I just
from
I didn't know how to do it smoothly. I thought that was like the best way. I'll just like put
like-
myself up.
I'm making a good point. Now seems like the great time to do it.
Oh
Probably.
man,
I guess I missed my timing.
All right, it was fun. That was fun.
props to you.
Interesting finish. Yeah.
Sulfuris, why?
I like I like
you like
Sulfuris.
this?
I
mean,
do.
Okay, Sulfuris is
Wild
alright.
Soul's
He's
good.
strong, but look at the lineup in general. Like, I just 4 melee heroes again versus a Magma's Eruption versus a Wild Soul that just screams tankiness versus a Hellbringer that we talked about in game number 1. Got the Malphas, which is just so damn good at immobilizing melee heroes, and he can potentially get a Restoration Stone in the late game. And then we got Arachna as well. Okay, sure, they might be able to burst down the Arachna, but what about the rest of the Evil Corporation? Like.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with the draft. Like, it was a low damage draft, and if you had one pick to like fix it, kind of, well, obviously not fix it, but like to complete it in a good way, I think Sulfuris was perfect for that. He provides a lot of sustained damage, like Breaky put it so well. Because you just need that damage over time. Like, you're not going to kill all of these heroes in a burst. So they have this guy like that will soak up damage and deal some damage and basically just like be in the front lines, outputting damage. And E6, they have to target him down. And they can't just focus Sandwraith. Because Parasite's going to be in the puzzle box as well. Not really a target you can go for. Deadwood is usually blink in, do your stuff, normally die, and then like you're kind of done. But now they have that Sulfuris and Sandwraith and puzzle box. So it's like 3 different things that could potentially be outputting damage over a long period of time. So I like this draft a lot more for Mint. I feel like in this game they're not... Like, it's a much more even game. It could go either way. The laning phase for Mint is going to be very important. If they can come out ahead, I think it's going to be huge for them. And I expect Sulfuris to be mid and Deadwood off lane, but I don't really know. What do you guys think?
Like, I'm just so worried for Mint that they're not going to be able to win. Like, they might be able to win the mid lane if Sulfuris is there, as you pointed out, versus the Hellbringer. But apart from that, like, I don't think Parasite can contest the Hellborn Forest when Wild Soul is up there, especially with Arachna and Andromeda roaming around. And, like, how are they going to be able to contest Farm versus the Arachna and Andromeda? Like, that's such an incredibly scary lineup, or an incredibly scary combo, that it's not going to be successful. So I don't see them successfully running an aggressive semi-tri-lane here, which means that they're going to have to suicide someone versus an Andromeda Arachna. That's going to be a disaster, at least on paper. Hopefully on practice, Fresh got a plan here, but for me, it just seems like Evil Corporation is going to run over them in the laning phase.
Oh, I think it's going to be the Deadwood Blitz top. Parasite's going to be in his own jungle, helping Sandwraith out and pressuring mid. And from my point of view, I feel like, okay, yeah, E6 are going to get farm on a lot of their heroes, but if Parasite gets a couple of rotations, it could quickly like snowball out of control. Like, so they get 1 kill on Sandwraith bottom. Instead of him being 250 GPM, he's suddenly 300, 310, 320, 330. Like, I think he's gonna have a good time when he gets mag. And when he hits 6, I think it's scary for the Arachna top. He gets hit by a Grasp, he gets hit by a Blitzstun, Sandwraith ports in. There's not really too much they can do about it. In the last game, there was so much backline. You know, they had the Rhapsody to back him up. They had the Warbeast that could run in and clean up everyone if they committed for a play like that. But in this game, I just don't feel like they have that. The synergy is just not there as well for them. I feel like they have a hard time protecting each other. And Mint can
Seems
actually...
like they are running the dual safe lane, by the way. That's probably not the right call. As you pointed out as well, Sandwraith should have a relatively fine time versus the Magmas, right?
I would have
But do
given
you
him
like
a set
this
of...
decision?
No, I don't know why he has a ward, though. Why does he have a ward if he's not alone?
Well,
Yeah,
there is a
not
Boo-Boo
sure.
here. They're going to be able to counter him in just a little bit at least, but...
See Blitz. Gonna have to harass the bear right there, but
This is really the best usage of the support hero. Like, supports are just so viable. Like, As we saw in like the first series when Insania here was playing the Magnus, for example, rotating around the enemy forces, putting pressure on the opponents straight from the get-go. Like I feel like that's kind of what I would have wanted to see from Fresh, at least when they're bringing these kind of offensive heroes to the table. But there is like, okay, what now? Like Deadwood isn't even going to be able to get experience at the top lane. Like what's the goal here? Like what's he going to do now? Like be in the mid and try to hit grasps? Yeah, I guess that's a viable strategy, but is securing a kill on Hellbringer really the main priority right there?
I think I don't know. He's gonna run back up top. He has to. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, look at this. Andromeda is just gonna rotate over, and now it's a deadly situation in the mid lane. Now they're not even going to be able to win this one. Blitz is down at the bottom.
Convinced. I'm not so convinced. I think Zephyros can hold his own against these two heroes. They're not great at like zoning him out. I mean, he might, but he'll still get like full experience, and he has such an easy recovery with his Q ability. So. I'm not on the same page as you. I feel like Mint are in a way better position this time than last time.
It's going to be interesting to find out at least how it plays out. At least this gives Deadwood a little bit of an opportunity here at the top lane to get some experience, at least seeing as Andromeda did rotate towards the mid lane. And they are going to successfully shut down the Magnus from experience down in the bot lane, even, or maybe not. Here comes the creep wave pushing thanks to the wild soul pulled earlier. Never mind what I said.
That's a big creep wave push, jeez. Yeah, the next one right there, so get some damage on the tower at least, but...
I mean, that's something I feel as well, like when you're up versus a wild soul, I feel like having a babysitting support is sometimes kind of wasted in a sense, because right now Blitz is, yeah, he's stacking, which is great, but I just don't think that it's as important as like potentially shutting down another lane. Up at the top lane, by the way, Andromeda is rotating over.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to do enough here, and actually Deadwood's the one that's going to find him first and apply some damage. Now here comes Arachna, though. Rotten Grass going to be used to keep Arachna away, and I mean, that could have been pretty close, actually, so good thing he landed that, and ultimately is going to stay alive. But yeah, Andrew roaming back and forth here. Keep the pressure on in multiple locations, but Arachna expecting him to have a fantastic start, of course, because of the matchup here. So yeah, Arachna not an everyday hero, especially when it comes to carry. But you know, Sandy, you were even talking about that earlier as far as the carry pool is pretty wide right now, and I guess it's kind of example of that in Boy.
We got to see Arachna.
Yeah, liking the idea of the Arachna here. So yeah, he's played it before, so it's not like rare to see it on him necessarily, but.
I look at the same, by the way, here down here with the illusions as well, pulling the lane, securing himself another additional waves of experience at least. So lucky rune there with illusions. Usually when you find an illusion, you're so disappointed as a player because it's just so boring compared to the other results. Yeah. Sure, you can make big plays with it. It can turn games around, but still in the early stages of the game, that's normally not what you want to find. But here, Zane finding a way to actually utilizing it to his advantage. So well played on his part. No, I just missed the creep wave.
I think the classic saying is like whenever you go for a rune, it's always illusion or regen, but whenever the enemy team goes for it, it's an invis or haste. So it's like it's never lucky, dude. They always get the good runes. And actually, this is something that's really important. But rune control is something like that. It basically wins games. And I think people have been saying this for years. So I saw that ECX went for both runes before they spawned, and this is a good sign. Oh. Yeah, here we go, Blitz.
There's Blitzkrieg. Here comes a follow from Lord Zelforce. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Bloodlust kill for Bunny Lover, actually. Coming out right there. Yeah, even Denver Pro assisting on the Parasite. So, collapse on a Matthias. Set up the Bloodlust kill.
Blitz.
And this is what I mean. They've set up their lanes in a way so that, everybody always kind of has to be scared. Like, Arachna, as soon as Sandvik hits 6, he has to be scared of that grasp landing and Sandvik porting in.
Blitz.
And now Blitz is in trouble, actually, but he's going to get away in the long run there. Magnus cannot chase him down. Those Striders a little too fast.
I feel bad for Zane. He right now in his head he's thinking, if it was any other player going for that rune, that would have been a haste. I would have got him that kill. If I was that Blitz, I would have died.
Runes though versus you guys. So he's had enough of hastes today. Zane.
Zane? Oh. I'm telling you, if I was Blitz,
I meant Oscar.
Oh yeah, but see, that's the thing. If I was the Blitz, that would have been a haste rune. I'll bet money on it. Anyone in chat, I'll take any bets. But no, okay, back to the game. I really think this is the most crucial point in men's draft. If they want to make it work, they gotta set up these plays now. As soon as Provost gets 6, there we go. Mid lane 6. Now it's like basically.
Andromeda
Yeah.
is already there in position. I think they're on or wait, they're preparing for
Well,
the
Blitz
potential
was
Sandwich
charging
jumping
in as if they were going to, but then he fell back. I think that was some miscommunication right there. It's almost like
Either that or they caught a glance or a glimpse of Andromeda
perhaps,
in the background.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Could have been.
But either way, you know, even if Andrew's top now, sure, Arachne isn't dying, but look at bottom, Sandra straight farming, and you don't know where Parasite is. He's running mid with a Stealth Hunter right now and setting up a play on the next lane. Still have Sandra ulti, so if by any means they can feel like the supports can follow up, they're gonna go here, and he's probably much dead.
yeah, no chance. I mean, Sandra guarantees it, but even without him, that's an easy kill. So Probusta will take credit for that. And he'll head right back towards the bottom lane. So, yeah, I mean, Sandwraith, Probusk, much different than the first game as far as his success goes. He's well over 400 gold per minute here. And the start doesn't look like that's going to be changing with the momentum. He's built
Yeah, they
up
even
at
got a
this point.
TP out of Imboboy as well. He put it into the mid, expecting perhaps some alphas coming out from Matthias, but he chose wisely and felt like it was best to save it for another opportunity. But yeah, where do you go from here? Like, if you're Evil Corporation now, if you see that Samrat is actually getting this farm, like, do you try to like smoke a gag, you go down there? Like, you don't necessarily have the heroes for it. You got a passive Wild Soul and an Arachna. What would you like expect from Evil Corporation here in the next couple of minutes?
I just think this is the draft, and this is kind of what I talked about. Like ECX, they have this going for themselves. Like, you know, if we get big enough, when we get our items, they can't fight us. Just, you know, there
Wild
is
Soul,
a
by the
game
way.
now.
Going to be found over here. Oh, more so he finds others. Blitz kind of going at it with him. Look at that. Ulti form though with a swipe, and all of a sudden, he's a very scary target. It's going to be never the kill to Blitz. It's not. He goes down first, and Blitz actually remains alive. So good timing by Lord Self-Force right there to get in there and secure that kill. So, well, nice kill on Imboboy, or not Imboboy, Tankafet there.
That's so big. He's level 8 at this point in the game. Like, Bunny Lover just got so much experience. And in a game like this, when you're playing here like Bliss, this doesn't just really have anywhere to farm. You're roaming around trying to set up plays. Kills like that, they're so juicy. That's pretty much the best kill they could have gotten. The most gold swing, the most experience swing. And he's also the hero that
Agnes
farms the
bottom.
fastest.
Agnes is going to lava surge before dying there, so.
Luckily, the Mirage still has a 15-second cooldown. But that was still close.
Yeah.
Zane struggling in this game. Really struggling. Down at 100 gold per minute. Almost lower than Andromeda. Only being level 3 as well. The portal key is far, far off.
I just want to see them rotate. I think Zane and Andrew right now, they could be setting up so many plays with the Hellbringer or with the Arachna, just like diving in from behind the top tower or like trying to do things. But understandably, they're so afraid of the Sandwraith Mirage right now that they're not going for it. So it's a tough spot. Mid lane, Omni's caught again, but he's going to drop the Malphus right before it, and Sandwraith ulti's in.
There's the turn kill chance. Well, Hellbringer actually staying alive. The Undying is on. I'm probably going to take him down, but it sets up plenty of turnaround, at least on a Parasite there. So 1-for-1 is where it will end. But again, Malphus being out does make a point that ECX may very likely go for the push now as a result of that. Arachna, she did use her Spider Sting right there onto Parasite, I believe, to get that kill. So it's going to be a tower kill as well. So yeah, the advantage going in their favor. Lord Self-Force is kind of sticking around, but I don't know. Oh, he might actually try for it. Look at Malphus even
Well, they can
blocking
try with
it.
a grasp or so, but I don't think it's going to be enough for them to actually commit. Or
They hit it, and yes, they are going to commit. Wow, Arachna just melted right there, but at what cost as Lord Self-Force falls back? Wildsoul cannot chase him down. Now all of a sudden, Wildsoul's actually in trouble himself, getting creep blocked a little bit. Samwraith in pursuit with the rest of his team. Hellbringer Fear not going to be enough. Down goes Wildsoul, and Fresh, despite losing the tower, they have the last laugh big time at the end of the fight.
That was a great play by Provosk. Like, I'm so impressed. I just have to say it, because he didn't pour it in on his Mirage earlier, but instead he opted to stay bottom, just use the ultimate to get an assist, get some gold, and then at the right timing, he instead TPs into his tier 2 tower and sets up that play. Like, I don't think a lot of players would have thought of doing that. Like, he'd been like, yeah, my Mirage is on cooldown, let's not take this fight. But he recognizes that this was a good trade for them, and I really like what they did. It was a fantastic play by Provosk.
Yeah, very similar to what we saw in series number 1 when you guys were playing versus Complexity Gaming. If you
Nice.
remember that mid fight, I think that was game number 2, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I mean,
Loves
it's
to
great.
bring that
Rub
up.
it in, rub it in, keep him coming.
It's a good resemblance, like where the mentality of the opponents are just not there. They're not just prepared for that fight, and suddenly the team that normally is playing passive just turns it all around. They flip the battle and they just go all in on aggression. So it worked out very well so far for the teams that actually make this kind of.
I will say the
Yeah, it
one
worked
team
out
was
great.
awful. Yeah, no.
Just kidding.
Lawrence Forest definitely this game. It definitely proven to be a great pick. I know there's a little bit of debate maybe on that, but he's obviously definitely proved to be the satisfying pick here. As different guys playing it very well on top of that. 3-0-3, 485 goal per minute. Goes a Void Talisman with his first pick, but I mean I guess Arachna is definitely a hero that's great against, and even Wild Soul. So it's odd seeing it on Self Force a little bit, but. Guess it works. What do you guys think?
Tablet of Command?
Yeah, I'm not
good
entirely
too.
sure if I agree on the Void Talisman. It feels a little bit too passive almost. I almost feel like he's already hard enough to kill for a Hellbourne team. Doesn't necessarily have any direct physical damage to bring him down. I mean, investment would probably have sufficed for now, but obviously, yeah, just being in there in the center of the team fights, I guess that's the mentality behind.
So wait, how does it work now with the Void Talisman and the Shrunken Head? Can he
You
can purge off the Void with Shrunken Head, right?
no, they're both still activation modifiers.
Okay, so you can't. So if you're Void Talisman, you have to wait out the entire duration.
Yes.
Right. So I that kind of like for me, it's a bit like weird, because I feel like he's probably going Shrunken, or is that a Frostwolf Skull? Yeah, it could have been. Oh, okay, that makes sense. If he's going Frostwolf Skull, then I think the Void Talisman is fine. And basically, he's saying, okay, my main damage in fights is my Q ability. So all I really want to do here is just make sure that I can stay alive, throw out as many Qs as possible. And he's saying, like, all right, Mag and Andro sure is doing magic damage, and so is Hellbringer. But what's really killing me is that extra little bit of damage that the Wild Soul swipes do.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
they're
mid lane,
Arachna auto.
Alphas.
Yeah, the fight breaking out right here. Malphus down, as you mentioned. Blitz gets to about a third of his life. Gonna TP back as he has the dot on him. It's not in time, though. Oh, that had to be a half a second, if that, remaining on the homecoming stone port. So he goes down. Nice deny of the tower. And actually going to transition nicely into Kongor here. So all of a sudden, ECX, bit of momentum, and will this be stopped? I mean, there's no vision. You have to think
Mirrors
Mid
was
has an
used by
idea.
Yeah, Mirrors
Okay.
was used though, so they're not going to be able to
Not gonna
contest. I think
stop
that
it.
was the trigger. They are, however, going to get the tower down at the bot lane. So I don't think this is the end of the world by any means for the Legion team. Allowing Evil Corporation to get the token, I don't think they're going to be able to get too much out of it. They
Yeah.
could potentially group up just a little bit more. Still don't have an Astra on their team though, so I think that the counter push from Legion team is going to be enough. Especially with
I
Malphus
agree with you. I don't think the Kongor is that big of a deal here. Like,
Okay.
Sandrith is closing in on his mock. Probos is super happy with this game. He's sitting at, like, what, 490 GPM? There is no Salamon competing with him. He knows that he's the most farmed hero in the game, and right now, they are looking fantastic. I think the Kongor, it's definitely the right call for ECX, but, like, what are they going to get out of it, like you said? They have to group up and fight, but they're just not in a position where they can do so, really. So, I don't know. It's looking really grim. Zane, not close to Portal Key at all. Normally, you'd see someone like Oscar maybe, like, 500-600 gold off of it here at latest, so he's sitting at 0-0-2, so he hasn't been dying, but the blink is just nowhere close. If I were Minto, just so you can get into their mentality, they probably think it's coming up pretty soon.
Okay.
Because he hasn't been dying, he's been getting a couple of assists. You don't really know exactly how many creeps he's had, but he's had the lane pushed up every now and then, and
That's fair, yeah.
so so if you're Mint, you probably think it's coming up fairly soon. Like around this timing, you start discussing it in your team. You're like, all right, Mag Blink Dagger, does he have it? Have we seen it? No. All right, probably he's getting it soon. And Zane is playing this smart, right? So he's not showing himself on wards. He's not showing himself on lanes. He's making sure that he stays in fog. And this is a very big like mind game that is. You see a lot of these better suicide players do, where they just don't show. And when they don't show for a long period of time, you start getting nervous. You're like, all right, he probably has the blink and is setting up. Okay, now he. Never mind everything.
Yeah.
Screw you, Zane. Caster's cursed me.
Ruining everything. He's pushing the bottom lane with this team. So yeah, it's not a hound on him, of course, and as we see, it's still well off. But no, that's definitely a very good point. You still were bringing up there, and it's that it's the idea that as a spectator, you know, we do forget that sometimes. It's hard for us to maybe understand, you know, what they're going through a lot of the time. So. It's good to bring up still, I think. But, yeah, they know he doesn't have it, obviously. Firebrand finished on Imaboy, I believe, but I also just saw, yeah, Mock just finished on Sandray, so some key items coming out here on either side. In fact, there's a puzzle box also just picked up on Parasite. But of course, we already have the Alkbones on Tankafet here, playing the Wild Soul. So he just naturally win it. Andromeda going to get picked off right here, and actually could be more. Is he going further? No, just gonna let the illusions kind of do their work
They're
there.
looking to turn this one around, but the puzzle box though is going to reveal the invis on Hellbringer, so this is probably not going to be successful.
Yeah, not going to be worth
so
it.
much gold.
The Alkbones.
Tanka just went up like so much gold. Oh my god. But yeah, no, I like this play from them. They're like, all right, it doesn't matter who we pick off, as long as they're 4 heroes, they're not gonna push. So they're gonna take that trade. I think they should have split out on lanes and started farming because they're not gonna fight this tower. I hope.
Yeah, Mirage was used once again by Samurov. So.
Right. Looks like they want to though. They know something that I don't. And I'm not convinced this is the right play, but who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, they're here for a reason.
They got a Monk of Brilliance and Samurov, so that's probably the cue of what they are thinking about. But at the same time, like, yeah, why? I mean, the puzzle box got under 40 seconds as well before it's up. So Parasite is literally going to be half a hero as well, of what he could be at least. His potential is not there right now. So defending this tower might come to cost them.
That nuke, man. Arachna dropping a half-life. Again, has a token, but yeah, Lord Forest, he is dishing out some pretty good damage.
Now you can start discussing defending this tower, because now the Malphas has been used.
Oh no, Blitz is in trouble. Yeah, Malphas going down though. Blitz is gonna fall. The Spider Sting on Lord Forest as soon as he goes up, and he just melts. He got caught in a stun lock right there. Sandwraith also in trouble. Gets swapped back in actually, and he's gonna be forced to fight this, including dead. Andromeda will be picked off, but you're definitely right. This is not a fight that Min should have taken, and it's playing out right here exactly as expected. A hat trick for Imba Boy. He's going to die, but pretty much a point of thank you for killing me. Now I got full life, full mana. Oh, Zane does fall.
What happened there?
But
Instead of Mint, like,
yeah.
they even had the Polki up on Deadwood. Like, it was, I think it was being delivered just as they were entered that fight. I have no idea why Blitz was up on that hill trying to scout them out, perhaps trying to set something up. But yeah, the commitment and the communication was just so off in that fight. I mean, they went in one by one when it could have really just jumped in with Deadwood, just hit one hero in the face and literally just followed it up on them. Or they could have just patiently waited for the Mirage and the puzzle box, which was up in seconds.
Well, Insania, you were such a fan of them defending right there. Where do you think it went wrong?
I mean, I think it went wrong when they decided to defend it. I think that was a great play, but also absolute no. I mean, that was just terrible. Like, sorry, no, it wasn't just terrible. I shouldn't say that because I would be playing. Like, I shouldn't talk. I got knocked out. So I think this was just a people make mistakes. It's people were watching. These are amazing players, but it's so many things, so many factors that you have to gauge in. Like, on top of just playing Han, everything is on the line for them, and you're like, we don't want to give this up for free, but oh, Imba Boy.
Yeah,
Imba Boy.
This is a pretty big catch, actually. They get him taken out, so.
Yeah, and this is actually coming back to Andrew. Why is Andrew mid? Why was he not sitting there, just swapping Imba Boy out, letting Imba Boy run away? Because that's the security that Andrew provides. Andrew allows him to farm up there because he can get swapped out. So, unfortunate, but yeah. Great play by Mint, recognizing it, going for the play, getting the pick off, backing off, and they did use a buyback in the mid fight. Should be noted on different guys. So it kind of still they managed to fix it because he's farming incredibly well. They got a couple of kills and they cleaned it up. It was just kind of sloppy from both sides. The Malphas went off before follow up was in range, and there was like a lot of these things. So. If they would have split up and just farmed the sides, it probably would have been a better decision at the time. But I think with how things worked out, it actually wasn't too bad for Mint. Even though Provost did die, I just think it was actually a pretty good fight.
Okay. Well, yeah, Arachna getting picked off there. Now, he does buy components for a Shrunken Head after he gets picked off, so that is going to be next in line for him here on the Arachna. Still leveling up that Hardened Carapace. Now, remember, it does require 4 levels now rather than 2 levels like before. To be able to activate it while stunned or silenced. So that was that little bit of a nerf that happened to her in the recent time there. Perhaps helped her kind of drop off a little bit. We saw her kind of explode onto the scene when those changes first took place, and then they kind of toned down a little bit. So an item that actually pretty good on Arachna too, something like that Shieldbreaker is something level 3 Shieldbreaker especially, but not looking like he's going for that at least yet. But I wonder if that could still be a potential here.
He probably wants to bulk up as much as possible. I think he's going to be the main focus for the leading team in pretty much every single situation.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you can catch Magnus, but hopefully Zane is smart enough to stand out of range. I'm not entirely sure why Evil Corporation wants to force this. I mean, Tagafet is in a very, very dangerous position as well. He got Andromeda sitting behind him, ready to swap him out if necessary. And
Andrew?
yeah,
Andrew?
all right. So Andrew is staying behind
I
instead.
don't know what that was about. Was that lag or something? Because he just kind of walked right up there, and for no reason it felt like. Oh. That's,
Magnus at least is having the Polki now, so all he really needs is half a level, and he's set for the next Kongor fight and that level 2 eruption.
Yeah. Nier was probably checking buybacks on Honkcast or something. I don't know what that was.
Doing the whole ghost thing. Yeah, that's
I don't know
alt
what
tabbed
that
or
was.
something there, but well, he
Maybe it's someone called him on the phone and he had to pick up.
that's possible.
That wasn't very Nier-like. But yeah, the reason I think E6 are forcing it so hard though, it's very simple in my eyes. It's like they can't compete with the map control. When they split up on the map, you know, it's so scary, whereas Deadwood not showing, whereas Parasite not showing. The only guy they might ever see is like Busk. And maybe Self-Force nuking out a creep wave here or there. And you know, that guy can be everywhere. So you're so scared of splitting up because at any point you could get picked off. So this is one of the big advantages that Sandwraith has over a lot of heroes, and this is the strength of Mint's lineup that, you know, E6 can't just map control them. And I think E6, as we saw in the last game, even though a lot of the time they have the strength to just go high ground, they like to play it safer. They like to play it a little bit slower. They like to just contain the enemy team, finish up items, make sure we're farming more than them, and then push with the resource lead. And in this game, they're just not able to get to that point. And again, talking about Wild Soul, that's one of Wild Soul's main strengths as a hero, that he kind of gives you the resource lead. But when both Different Guy and Probusk are farming as well as they are, it's just, his 600 GPM is great.
The smoke.
Oh, that's a jump on a Sandwraith, or not Sandwraith, but Arachna right there. There's a swap though from Andromeda. Of course, as we're talking about, Devil going to be turned in response. Malphus, of course, down. Sandwraith cutting around the edge. Is going to look to pick off Andromeda to the side over here, but now in comes Wild Soul, and Blitz feels the pain from him, and so does Sandwraith actually in the background. Arachna is going to be low, but a nice rupture from Magnus as well as a stun. Lord Self-Force being locked down. He cannot do a damn thing. Oh, he can! He throws out the nuke. He's like, I'm taking you with me to hell and back, and he takes out Arachna. So at least gets Arachna killed, but a 4 for 2 exchange in favor this time of ECX right there. No buybacks, right? Yeah, no buybacks throughout, and now ECX charging towards the middle lane. So I mean, that seemed like a good jump, honestly, but that's Andrew. Andrew's there to swap.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mindset was right, but you have to predict everyone from the Hellborn team being around at least. I mean, at least judging from how the game has been progressing so far, Evil Corporation has clearly stated that they are always running at least 2-3 people together. They did get a pick off on Arachna by the top lane earlier, so perhaps they were kind of like motivated by that kill to try to get another one in a similar way. But unfortunately, it backfired big time. Here, well played by Nier, at least playing the Andromeda, but this is going to result in a Congo kill as well. There's no way the leading team can actually defend this.
Yeah, most likely right here. You see, well, so he could solo it even if it take a little bit of time, but by all means, very, very easily soloable for him. So, gonna get some team support though, and yeah, will be a token. Of course, you would think for Arachna here. To pick it up.
By the way, going for Restoration Stone, I assume, with that Sustainer.
Yes.
Is that the standard core? It's going Restoration
Yeah,
Stone is the secondary.
Yeah,
item?
Resto Stone really is. It's kind of been the very popular follow-up. That, and even into Staff of the Master, honestly, is kind of it's this idea of the all-in, the ultimate effect, and you're getting plenty of damage from a skill set in the mock, then you have that team support around, so nothing too unusual there, but we'll see.
So Evil Corporation wants to push the high ground here? That's a risky call, but perhaps it might...
I just
There are
think for them
buybacks on
it's
Sandwraith.
like in this situation right now, it's like, alright, we can play the game slow and try to farm, but then we have to farm as 5, and they can be split up and farm way more than we do. So might as well just get the token, go high ground before they get ahead of us. Like, don't let them get ahead, don't let them split push us, don't let them force us to be 5 and just be everywhere. But just go for the high ground. And I like that they put the token on Wild Soul. Like, it shows that they know, like, Wild Soul's, Arachna's not gonna hit the tower, he will just die. So they put the token on Wild Soul, let Wild Soul be the guy sieging. Because he's the only guy to stink, you know. And I really like this decision. And now Arachna's hitting.
Yeah, well, notice how they're not missing either. That's thanks to Arachna there with that level 4 precision. So, another benefit that she's bringing to Wild Soul in that case as well. In that ranged form.
Block is, I mean,
question,
Restoration
like-
Stone, really close, by the way.
If you were a Magnus here, like if you were in Saint's position, where would you position yourself in before this team fight? Like it's clear that Mirage is going to go off the second that the team fight is, you know, emerging. So, oh, here he actually goes in for
Well, there you go. There's your answer. Lords of Force already at half life. Meanwhile, jump in the background onto somebody. That's a Hellbringer actually got picked off before he could throw out the Malphus. Arachne, though, with the Sharknado. Going to take out Deadwood. Blitz and Deadwood both dead so far. Now Arachne's changing attention to Parasite over here. He loses Wildsel, though. Yeah, Wildsel will go down, but he has a token. So he's going to be fine as Lord South4 is now back into the fight. He got a half-life early. He had to get out early. And he comes back in. He immediately just drops that Void Talisman, though. Barely saves him in the end, but man, he did nothing that fight because he just had to run basically from the beginning right there.
Such a good initiation by Magnus. We were just talking about what Magnus should do in these team fights because obviously the Eruption is not an answer or is not a call. Actually, buyback as well from Matthias here. He's going to come in. They want to commit for this Rax.
Yeah, I mean, he still has Malphus. That's why he may want to use it right here. It's going to be close. He's not going to. And in the end, Lord South4 is doing a good job of being very passive, not really chasing them. That's exactly what they wanted. So, well, they hold the rack. So, not too bad of a hold at all, really, by Mint. And considering they even got a buyback out of Hellbringer, actually, in the long run.
Yeah. See, we weren't kidding. The servers are laggy.
Yeah, they are.
See,
or I'm not
we were not being bad-mannered.
So be it.
I was telling you.
Pausing after every fight.
At least we paused after the fight, not before them. Like
after the fights you won.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just laggy.
I
Mid lane, Hellbringer's caught again.
He gets Malphus off at least, and there's the kill though on Hellbringer. But again, with Malphus now down, Magnus turns in. They kill Sandwraith especially. That's well worth the exchange, but not going to happen. As he gets away there. Oof. Deadwood escapes too, so. But yeah, again, the hold for Mint really not too bad there. It's still a lead here of sorts for ECX, but they do save the racks, and yeah, really no buybacks actually in that fight, on their side at least, so.
They should be happy about that exchange, yeah. The fight kind of started well for Evil Corporation, but Legion team really made a stand. And getting the buyback out of Hellbringer is big at this point, seeing as he is trying to reach that restoration timing, but that's going to be far off now.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get there. I think his game is right now. The resources are in ECX favor, but I think the game is heavily favoring Mint. The situation that they're in, the position that they're in, they are very happy with this. I remember about like a year ago when Sandwraith first came, like when we first started doing this whole rush mock Sandwraith, the concept was like, all right, we're gonna lose one Rax. One Rax will be lost because it's so greedy. But after that point, they just can't win fights against us, and we can just constantly control the map and all this. And you know, Mint hasn't even lost the Rax. They're in a great position. This lineup that E6 are running, it's kind of on a clock. And that buyback from Matthias, not great. His positioning in that team fight, not great. Two things right now that are pointing to maybe he's a little bit tilted. Maybe, you know, the mentality right now might be like, oh, screw this game. Oh, we're doing, like, it's not, you know, because they don't know that they're 7K ahead.
Yeah.
From where they're sitting, they're like, all right, we tried to go high ground, it failed. We just got picked off on the top lane on our Arachna. I fought back, I died. Right now, the momentum is heavily in Mint's favor. And you can even tell from the map movement. Like, look at this. Look at how far up Mint are on the map. Yeah. They haven't been up here at any point in the game. So they're very confident with where they're at. And in the late game, I always try to talk about this because I think it's so important. It's not so much about who has what items, but more so who has the momentum, who has the confidence, which team feels like, oh my god, we need to run if we get caught, and which team feels like, yeah, we're the kings of this. Yeah, we want to fight. We want to set the pace. We want to farm the map. We can do whatever we want. And right now, that's Mint.
It feels like it. You're right, especially with the control of the map right now. Now, you do see a little bit of a push coming out from ECX at the bottom. The illusions of Arachna down here getting some pressure, but in the end, they're going to be stopped, and Creep Wave going to start being pushed back. So, yeah, that's something I actually did want to bring up earlier was the Gnome's Wisdom choice on Hellbringer. I love the item, and I know Nier especially is a big advocate of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he was telling him to, suggesting it to him even, but that did delay his restoration stun. You figure if he didn't go that Gnome's Wisdom, you know, maybe would have been close, if not it possibly had the Resto Stone by now. So, you know, the game could have been somewhat different, sure, but I think you can look at that and maybe wonder the what-if game, the hindsight game there.
It was probably a situational item. It felt like the laning phase didn't go as expected. It felt like they were way behind. They needed to get some extra gold from tower kills or similar. So they just wanted to group up as 5, and Gnome's Wisdom is clearly a good option for that kind of action. So that's probably the case behind, at least, or the mindset behind the pickup. Now he might regret it because Evil Corporation didn't actually go or get that much done as a team, but it's still a great item to have.
Interesting stuff just happening there. Well, we got the Assassin Trout on Arachna. Just purchased it, so that's going to be coming out now. Who's also level 16, by the way. That's pretty significant, too, because that Spider Sting now, it's not only pretty, it's 1125 damage if it gets out the full thing, as well as the minus 80% movement speed slow, but also the 30-second cooldown now. So there's a chance could even use it twice in a fight. So pretty good to have that. Wingboat just about finished on Tankafet also. Another impactful item, of course, to have. And then there was, what else was there? Oh, yeah, Void Talisman on Deadwood as well. So they really like this idea of the Void.
Sluskadurt has
he did sell
really
it.
not found out
Okay, he
place,
did,
unfortunately.
Yeah, different guy did sell his. That is a good point.
But yeah, I want to touch on the gnomes like you guys were talking about, and I think for me it's like, you know, there was this war beast that went like Astrolabe and Barrier Idol, and it was like the momentum of the game was going really. That was me, by the way. It's just
Okay.
went those items, and
didn't
then the
catch
game
that.
ended up dragging out very long, and the items were very bad. But I mean, when you're in the game, like, look at the situation that they were in earlier. At some point in this game, they felt like we have token, we're just gonna group up and go and fight. Only probably says, you know, I have 2k gold. I don't want Breaky to make fun of me for pushing with a bunch of gold. So I'm gonna buy an item that benefits us in this team fight that I plan on winning and then going high ground. Because why would I force a fight if I didn't think I was gonna win it? And then things happened, it didn't turn out that way, and now I look like an idiot. So I think you guys are absolutely right with the what if game. But it's important to understand the situation that they were in and why he made that decision. And in this case, I think why he made it is, it made sense. There was reasoning for why he did it, and therefore I approve of it. But of course, had they known with the result in hand, probably not.
Yeah,
The way they should have gone about it.
fair enough. Well,
Kongor is about to respawn here. I mean, those marks, I'm not too familiar with all
1
this new stuff.
minute
they're
for
from
each
Switch Video.
one, so it's
Okay.
there's about 2 minutes remaining, basically. A little under 2 minutes, probably. So, next,
Gotcha.
by
So
34.
that is going to be
yeah.
bananas, because that is actually the third Kongor killed in this game, so that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah,
Ultimately, one that could potentially
up here.
end this game.
Oh, that got close. The failed rot, man. They were so close to
Nier
running
saw
into
him, dude. Nier has a sentry where they're, Word of Revelation there, and they saw the Stealth Hunter run by with the bear, so they know he's here.
Oh,
Oh,
they're
there
gonna
we
get
go.
him.
Yeah, there we go. The jump is had. A lot of chaos in the fight. Malphite's going to be coming out. Parasite picked off right off the bat, actually. Arachna dropping a half-life. Barely staying alive. Swap out from Andromeda. Trying to just skirt around right here. The Undying is out on a Wild Soul, I believe, as he's trying to run away now himself. But Deadwood will fall. Hellbringer goes down. Wild Soul, meanwhile, is still on the run himself, but he is alive. Lord South Force cannot chase him down. Now Lord South Force in a pretty bad spot. That Frostal Skull doing work with the Wingbow. Samurai tries to man up. That's not going to work, though. Hat trick coming out for Tankafet. And that's going to be a quad kill as he takes him out. The genocide in favor of ECX. Wipeout indeed for Evil Corporation. I mean, that's it started again a cluster right there. Could have gone either way, it felt like, but man, Wild Soul all of a sudden started manning up. And
Yeah, I find those
out.
situations so hard when like you get a poor initiation, or Evil Corporation gets like the perfect start to the game, like they find Parasite out of position or with the help of the Bound Eye, and they catch him. Like, what do? Like, you use the Mirage out, or like out of a like as a reflex almost if you're a Provost. But then like, do you commit to the fight? You're already one man down. Obviously, Mint took the initiative here and jumped into the fight anyways, but it backfired big time. Like, it's just those kind of moments that's so hard to predict. If you're a team captain, I don't know who makes those calls. Like, is it just instantly like we go all in if someone gets caught, or like what's the mentality behind that?
I'm sure I would think it has to be kind of a spread there as far as like, you know, sometimes no matter who the team captain is, like if you're a player and you happen to see somebody just completely out of position that you feel like at least, you just make the call yourself, no matter if you're the team captain or not. So I mean, I don't know, Sania, if you have more insight on that, but
No, actually, usually what happens at this stage of the game is everybody shares control, and the captain just moves through.
just
Yeah.
Micros
Yeah.
becomes
Yeah.
StarCraft players, and yeah.
Exactly. No, of course not. I think in that situation, it's like Denver's screaming, "I'm caught. I need help. Please, someone do something. I don't want to die." And then Probus says something in Danish, some battle cry to pump his team, and then they run into the fight and take it. No, but I mean, it sounds funny, but usually it's like that. You're like, yeah, we got this. This
Of
is
course,
an easy
yeah.
fight for us. So, it's usually like in those tight situations. That's where you need that one guy that makes the call. But here we go. It's a base fight.
Token DD
Or-
Wild Soul, what the
Or
hell
just
do you do?
not a fight. The Rack's gone. Move on to the next
Yeah.
lane. Oh man, Hellbringer caught again though. Sandwich goes in.
There we go, swap out in the background, so Hellbringer's going to be able to get it as Malphasov doesn't have two just yet. That double damage Wild Soul, though. He's just a turret in the middle of the fight. He's just right-clicking everyone. Oh my gosh, he just stayed ranged for him and just melted the Legion team. Obviously others did so. I mean, Arachne is also hitting really hard. Can't underestimate his damage as well, but that's another cleanup, and I can't blame him for not throwing in the towel just yet, of course, but there is a GG well played, and it is going to be official. Evil Corporation, they're going to the grand finals here in the playoffs. They will have the 1-0 advantage here over the team that they end up playing, which will be between, of course, Complexity and Fresh, who will play in the losers bracket finals come tomorrow for that first match. So Fresh, they ran into a very motivated
Very
team here, very determined. That's a good word for it here in ECX. And again, they remain undefeated. Really, like that's something that you cannot overlook that either. They have gone 2-0 in their 3 series now. They have a 1-0 lead in a best-of-5 grand finals, and deservingly so. They're going to be tough to beat, no matter who faces them here.
What can we say? Like, Evil Corporation is making one final very impressive stand. Like, I have no idea what happened with Lord Sephoris. He melted in 2 seconds. The damage output, yeah, it came to a point where they simply couldn't deal with Evil Corporation's team composition, I guess. But either way, like, at least Druids didn't necessarily got rolled over. I mean, the game was still relatively close, so them going up versus Complexity Gaming tomorrow, that should be an interesting series. But so far, I mean, Evil Corporation, they are clearly dominating in these playoffs, and clearly the favorites going into tomorrow, being up 1 game as well, as you pointed out.
Yeah. That's the guy. I mean, you know, we went into this weekend suggesting that all 4 teams had a chance, and it really didn't know, but God, after today, it's ECX is the one to beat, no doubt. I mean,
well,
obviously,
did in all honesty, like I know that it dropped down to the loser bracket, but the Complexity Gaming, their performance today, that it was also flawless. I feel
that's very
it
good.
was so impressive. Yeah, but it
I'm
was
right here,
like,
Snooey. I'm right here.
Yeah, but
I'm
wouldn't
right
you
here.
rather admit that you lost versus
No,
someone that played
no,
flawlessly than rather someone that played like poorly?
No.
No,
We threw the
that's a
game.
good way to put
No,
it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just
BMG
kidding.
threw
I'm
hard
just kidding.
the whole game.
Just kidding.
They changed up
no.
their captain for some reason, and that's what really lost.
What
it
was
for
that
them.
all about?
Oh, the shots.
What a misplay.
No.
Jeez.
But insane, yeah. So yeah, what are your final thoughts here on this series?
I mean, okay, first of all, I would like to call ECX a well-oiled German fighting machine.
Yeah.
I think that's what they are.
Okay.
But no, I actually think this game meant, in my eyes, they were in the driver's seat at the end. Like it was not ECX was too fat and we couldn't deal with them. It was literally a series of bad teamfight decisions that lost them the game. Like the initiation on, and like when they went on the Parasite pickoff, like for example that we said, like it didn't work out in their favor. And I was actually going to credit Probus for how well he played that fight up until the point where he decided to run into 3 heroes and try to finish off Wild Soul. Like, he picked off the Hellbringer and he picked off the Magnus, which I think is exactly what he's supposed to do in that fight. And then they needed to, like, reset back, take the kills that they got, and not greed for more. And they greeded for more, and it ended up costing them the game. But
Yeah.
if I was still in this qualifier, I'd be worried about going up against ECX. And, you know, they're...
All right, well, what's the deal? They didn't even make the playoffs for that. It's obviously they were going through some roster situation there and not really committing a whole to it. But so that's why a lot of people, I think, and for good reason, were a little like, that's got to be the theme of ECX right there.
I think ECX, man, they're the Empire. They're the force,
They're
like
just
the
so
dark side.
determined of making it. Like, they weren't necessarily, I don't know, it just felt like during the whole Hunter Season 4, they didn't have the same kind of commitment. But now, you know, they're really gone into this and just being like, we are going to freaking win these playoffs. We want to make it to Thailand.
The later part, they definitely started to kick it in a second gear, winning 1, even 2 cycles, I think it was, or maybe 1, but They obviously really stepped it up, and then the Deadeye Bounty League happened, and then it was like, all right, well, what's the deal? They didn't even make the playoffs for that. And it's obviously they were going through some roster situations there and not really committing a whole to it. But so that's why a lot of people, I think, and for good reason, were a little like uncertain about these playoffs here with them. But yeah, Nier was talking with him about it a little bit going into it, and then realizing here with what's happened, yeah, they're on track.